Joining us now to break down where we stand in the 2020 race is Diamond and Silk, the host of the show Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live. So thank you both for joining us tonight. I want to start with the jobless claims that came out this morning. We got some new economic numbers, and that's going to be a very big issue for voters as they head into November. And as we know with elections, the economy is usually one of the top issues. Do you think that'll be the same case this time around?
Well, yes, people are going to be looking at the economy, but one thing that we know before this pandemic hit, the
Mm-hmm.
president left us in such a good place.
Yes.
So if these governors will open back up their states and allow the economy to flow, we
Yes.
will be back to normal before time.
That's
So
right.
it will be back in time for everyone to see how our economy will continue to go up, go up, go up, go up.
You got to also remember, as American citizens, we want to make sure that we're prosperous. And under President Donald J. Trump, we were very, very prosperous, are very, very prosperous, and will remain prosperous.
Right.
If we mess up and elect a president like Jim Crow Joe, we are all going to be going to hell in a handbasket. So my advice to you is to make sure that you vote right so you won't get left, and make sure you vote red so we can remove every Democrat.
Vote Trump.
And when we talk about the economy, too, the reason why we're even having this conversation, and not the conversation that you brought up of a very strong economy, is because of the coronavirus pandemic. And a lot of Americans are putting the blame on China for that. I mean, of course, viruses do happen. Things do happen. I mean, it's unfortunate. But what China did at the very beginning is cover it up. And that's why it was able to spread so quickly across the world. And that's why we're still dealing with this 3 months out from an election. And in fact, there's an intelligence community assessment that is just coming out today that says that Russia wants to hurt Joe Biden, but China wants to hurt President Trump. Does that kind of speak to the idea that President Trump is the one to take on China during this time?
Oh, absolutely,
Yes.
because President Trump is not afraid to stand up to China. You have to remember now, Jim Crow Joe, he's like the puppet
That's
for
right.
China, and China will be the puppet master. Not only him, but a lot of these Democrats, they've already sold themselves out,
Yep.
sold our country out to China. So the best person to go up against China would be President Trump, because he's going to make sure things are fair and equal. China is not getting away with certain things. China is not spying on America, trying to take their intellectual properties
That's
and things
right.
like that.
Mhm.
President Trump will be the man to stand in the way to make sure that things go correctly with China. Jim Crow Joe is not going to do it. He's already been bought and sold to China.
That's right.
And you bring up Joe Biden, and he made some comments once again yesterday that are troubling a lot of members of the black community. He said that they're not very diverse in their views as compared to Latino voters. That's the way he put it. But you're an example that black voters, for example, are not monolithic. They can change their mind. They can have a more diverse view set.
That's right.
So is that something that maybe Joe Biden needs to come to reality with, that black voters aren't guaranteed to him? He needs to earn those votes?
He needs to, first of all, he needs to come to grips that he don't own black people.
That's right.
And because him, along with some of these other white left-leaning liberals,
Mhm.
put this ideology in the minds of black people that you can only be this and do this, doesn't mean that's what black people have to do. We have our own minds. We can think for ourselves.
That's
None
right.
of us think alike.
Yeah.
And if we choose to vote for President Donald J. Trump, we will.
That's
So
right.
with some of the bigoted and derogatory and racist things that come out of Jim Crow Joe's mouth, it is unacceptable. And you know what? Why isn't the left-wing media holding him accountable?
That's right. Why?
They should be holding him accountable for that. He don't own black people, and we don't all think alike. And to say something like that,
That's right.
and the reason why they do that is because they automatically assume they're going to get the black vote.
Yep.
The black people going to do what I tell them to do. If I want to bring up race, I can provoke a
Mhm.
race war using a race card.
Yeah.
Because they already see how some black people follow along just to get along. But there's a lot of black people that's waking up.
Oh, yes.
And they're waking up to the sick and sinister mess from the left. They don't like it. And that's why they're going to be voting for President Donald J. Trump.
And if there's anybody that's on a fence, all you have to do is jump off the fence, open up the gate, and walk there in. That's all you have to do. It's just that easy.
And I think the Trump campaign agrees with what you're saying. They do see that there's an avenue that a lot of black voters feel disenfranchised by the Democratic Party. They don't feel like they're any longer looking out for their best interests because of the very fact that a lot of these politicians do think that they are owed that vote and don't have to earn it themselves. So when we are talking to many people who may be on the fence, as you say right there, what should the message be, not only just to black voters, but to the people who may be on the fence, who aren't sure if they want to go with President Trump or if they want to go with Joe Biden? What's your message to those voters?
Well, first of all, back in 2016, President Trump asked, what the hell do you have to lose?
That's right.
If we don't vote for President Trump, we're going to have a whole hell of a lot to lose.
Mhm.
We're going to lose our freedoms, our livelihoods,
Yep.
our constitutional rights, our First and Second Amendment rights in those constitutions,
That's right.
in that Constitution. So you want to make sure you vote right so you won't get left.
That's
We
right.
want freedoms, we want our liberties, and we want a president that's fighting for the American people. And it's only one, and his name is Donald J. Trump.
That's right.
And we hear that from a lot of voters, too, is that they want some fight in Washington from conservatives, and they're not getting it from a lot of the Republican leadership. It seems to be that President Trump is the one taking on these issues alone, and then his allies usually come back behind him. But a lot of people saying that they need to go on the offensive in these final 3 months, and it looks like the president is turning the corner on doing so, and more people that we talk to are hoping that a lot of the Republicans come along with him. But Diamond and Silk, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight and breaking down where we stand in the 2020 race. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.